Hi, this is Bryant with Digital Dual Bladers. I got a new deck profile, or I guess a deck profile update for the Magnamon Dynasmon deck that I built. That was one of the first videos we did. With the new set, we got new Shakkoumons and stuff, and Magnamons and Dynas. So it should help the deck a bit to keep pace with the other decks. So as our egg, same as last time, Demi Vmon. Little DP boost for two more colors, pretty useful. Yep, DP still matters, especially when you're trying to block with Dynas. Especially with the whatchamacallits, the Atmon stuff, they can get pretty high. Then we got four of the searching Vmons that let you DNA at the end of the turn. Pretty good since you can play it for free. It's pretty good to keep in hand and then put one of the promos or two color Vmons in the back so you can do some plays. Pretty standard. Everybody runs it still in other Vmon decks. Then we got four of the BT21 Vmons. Lets you evolve for reduced cost with no conditions, and it gives a DP boost. Pretty solid card. Then we got four of the promos. Yeah, this one requires a tamer for the Evo reduction, and it lets you draw. So I prefer to see this early on and just evolve it in the back. Like, sure, I won't get the DP or the Evo cost reduction, but just being able to swing early and get a draw is pretty important since this deck is kind of janky. Then one of the EX3 Vmons, you have a bunch of free stuff in the hand, so you just play this, trash it, and get some draw. It's a good way to help on brick since there's no other Vmon that searches that works with this deck. So this is kind of it. Then we got two of these new sister mons. These replace the Wisteria memory boosts. So what I like to do is I like to evo into a Vmon in the back and then play this out, get that little draw, and then the next turn I'll attack with this, which will suspend it, which will let it activate its ability to let the Vmon evolve for a reduced cost. And that combos with the promo Vmon or the BT21 Vmon, making it a one cost evolve for Magnamon, which is pretty good. Or if your Magnamon is in the trash, you can evolve from the trash too. So it's pretty useful. That's the rookie lineup. Also, I guess when you get low on security with Dynas, since you add then or you add your security to the hand and then recover. If you're at zero security, you just recover, which is good when you get low on security. Then we got four of the new Magnamon. 7 play cost, Evos on top of Vmon for 3, blocker, armor purge, and then on play and when digivolving, draw 1. Then one of your Digimon with the Royal Knight or CS trait can't be bounced to the hand or deck until your opponent's turn ends. Very nice. I'm still not entirely sure if it's an upgrade to the old starter deck Vmon or Magnamon, just because that version's removal is pretty strong and the whole security effect. But the draw one is very nice to help getting that big hand size for your combos. And I like it so far, especially since it's an on play, which will come up later. Then we got four of the old BT13 Magnamons, the ones that let you float when it would be removed, what I call fake armor purge. Just being able to draw one when it would be removed, so you can go early with the promo underneath, get a draw, check something big, get another draw, play out the promo and evolve again for another draw. Very nice. Just being able to float into this with the new Shakko is good. And then we got two of the BT21 Magmons. It's nice. Blocker, Armor Purge, and just being able to give your opponent's smaller Digimon a DP minus is nice. So you or just unsuspend when you Armor Purge with the BT23 Magnamon or itself. Pretty nice. Nothing much to say. I'm not entirely sure about this one if I should switch to the BT8, but for now, this one's cheaper, so I'll keep running it. Omekamon. This is still in the deck. It pairs with Cool Boy, so when one of your Magnamons or Dynases gets removed, you can just float this out and then block in case your opponent tries to go for game. And if you have one or less security and you have Omni X in hand, you can warp into that. Or you can just slam this down during your turn if you have the low enough security. So it's pretty awesome. 2 Shakkoumons used to be 4, but the new Shakkoumon kind of outclasses this. But just being able to evolve into this instead of a DNA and get the recover is nice, and it's just like ace target for you. But being able to bounce by DNAing is good too. And then the one attacking is not once per turn, so that can come up with what's his name, AmiX. Then the new Shakkoumon, 8 play cost, 8 KDP, 4 to evolve. Digivolves for 3 on top of your CS Magnamon, and DNAs with the yellow and then the black and blue, black or blue for free. Pretty nice. So when attacking, it creates a taunt effect, which is good. So that's why it replaces the Etamon. And then if it's a DNA, you de-digivolve 1. Pretty nice. And then all turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, other than by one of your effects, you may play 1 level 4 lower yellow, black, or CS Digimon from the Digivolution cards without paying the cost. Has the Angel type, that'll never come up. And then all turns is the same as the Inheritable, so you can use this, attack with it, and if it gets removed, you float into Magnamon from BT13. If that Magnamon gets removed, you float into a Vmon. So it creates a more resilient board. It's pretty nice. And then, of course, since it taunts your opponent's Digimon, you can go into Dynasmon Ace. 7 play cost, 4 to evolve over yellow or red, 12 KDP, raid, Ace, Blast Digivolve. On play, when Digivolving, when attacking, by trashing the top security card, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6k until the end of the turn. All turns, when you have 3 or fewer security cards, this Digimon gains blocker and plus 4 KDP. So, you just evolve this on top of one of your Shakkoumons, and then you'll trash security, and this becomes a big 18k beefy boy, so you can block. Well, 19 with the egg underneath, and you'll usually always have the egg. So it's pretty hard to get rid of from battle. And then if they try to remove it, Shakkoumon floats out of Magnamon. So pretty solid. Then Dynus X, 12k, 4 to Evo, 1 over Dynus. When Digivolving, when attacking, by if Dynasmon or X antibodies in the Digivolution cards, by trashing the top security card, trash your opponent's top security card, and this Digimon gets plus 6 KDP until the end of the turn. Then at the end of the turn, if you have 2 or less security, recover 1. Pretty solid boss monster. You go into this, get the DP boost, raid into one of your opponent's big bodies, and you'll get like 19k. And then end of turn, you recover, so you're not killing yourself as much compared to other Dynasmon decks, thanks to this and the Magnamons. Pretty solid. 1 Omni X, raid piercing blocker, 16 play cost, 16 TP, 6 to Evo over Dynus. I'm playing when Digivolving, if Magnamon or X antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, choose one of both players' Digimon and delete all other Digimon, then return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck. And then end of turn, one of your Digimon may gain Rush for the turn and attacks without suspending. Pretty good to finish the game, or you float out into Mechamon and evolve into this, wipe your opponent's board in the middle of their turn, and it's kind of hard for them to recover. I am trying to bump this up to 2 each, but it's hard to find room for it. But eventually I will. 4 Cool Boys, kind of a main engine piece. When one of your Digimon are played or Digivolve, if any of them have the Royal Knight trait, by suspending this Tamer, draw 1 and gain 1 memory. Then opponent's turn, when any of your Digimon with the Royal Knight trait would leave the battle area, you may play 1 Omecamon from the hand without paying costs, security play itself. So this is a pretty important part of the engine, and even though it costs 4 to play out, it's very strong as an engine piece, especially since the newer Tamers that suspend to draw 1 and gain a memory, this one doesn't have the if you have 7 or less restriction, so your hand gets pretty outrageously huge. And honestly, sometimes you might even deck yourself out, so try to be careful. Then we got 4 Daves and Kens, plays out a Vmon at the start of your turn, and then at the end of the turn, it bounces back to your hand. So if you play out a Vmon and then evolve into the Royal Knights Magnamon, since it would leave by your own effect, you play out the Vmon again, and then this goes back to hand, and you'll have a more stable Vmon to go into at the start of your turn. Pretty solid. And then, of course, when you DNA, and this only matters when you, well, I guess when you digivolve into a blue, you can suspend them to gain a memory, and if it's a DNA, you can trash the resources. This only comes up with the Shakkoumon, and honestly, with Pyramidimon running around, trashing sources isn't the best thing to do, but it comes up sometimes when you have bodies with annoying inheritables. Then 1X antibody, you tuck this under Shakkoumon, swing and go into Dynasx X if you don't have Dynasx Ace, and that'll save you the overflow. And of course, if it gets checked in security, you'll gain a memory, and it gives Omni X that effect boost. Pretty solid card. I could try get rid of this for another Omni X, but we'll see. And then 2 Island of Adventures. Since your Tamers are 4 cost, this makes it cheaper and kind of gets your opponent to attack less, since you're kind of bluffing that you have a Tamer in hand in case it gets checked. Pretty solid. Turn 1, you can go Rookie in the back and then put this into security. And if you don't have a security, this will effectively let you recover 1, and then you just go into Dynasx X, recover another security, so you can go back up. So you can gain another turn. Yeah, so this deck has more floating capability. It used to have the Royal Knights Magnamon, but now, this guy will float out into Magnamon, and then Magnamon will float out of Vmon from the hand, so you can keep more bodies on the field. And just having like a decent blocker early game and being aggressive with it. Some decks are slower and can't respond as quickly. But yeah, I'd say this deck is still pretty strong. I mean, sure, it'll brick, but every deck bricks, so it's not a big deal. Try it with the new cards and see how you like it. All right, see you next time.